So the Thunder is arguably the third best ran franchise behind the Spurs and Philly because they made good moves. Like, they drafted 3 MVPs in a row, and then when 2 of them left, they somehow still got another very good star in Paul George, who went on to have his best season of his career in just his second year there, where he finished third in MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. And then when him and Westbrook ended up leaving, they got SGA, Chris Paul, and a ton of draft capital. They literally don't take L's. Now, the only thing that I'm wondering is what's next. But before I get too deep into the video, do your boy a solid and hit that like button, as well as subscribe to the channel, as your support will be much appreciated. And without further ado, drop the intro. So just a quick recap on the Thunder season. They had a record of 22-50. They were 30th in offensive rating and 24th in defensive rating and 7th in pace. Now, the Thunder actually did something really good when they hired Coach Mark Daniel. He was a first-year head coach, and I think he's going to be a pretty good coach. And in my opinion, has a chance to be one of the best coaches in the league. He's a creative thinker and hard worker who has built meaningful relationships with his players, and the guys trust and believe in him. He's really smart, but come off as personable, which is important, especially when you're dealing with players. You know, they're professionals, they're making millions to play this game, and they care about, you know, being treated the right kind of way. And he's that type of coach. His players kind of, you know, they get into it with each other, they talk it out, and, you know, he actually cares about the player, not just as a basketball player, but as a person. And that's the reason why I really like him. He also really understands the game of basketball and has a reputation for developing young players, as he was a member of the OKC Blues, so he already had worked with some of the players that he had brought over there, and, you know, they tend to like him. So far as everything being said, I kind of would compare him to the Daryl Morey of coaches. Like, he thinks outside the box a little bit, and I really like that about him. I know his first year didn't seem like he did very well, and I get that, but, you know, he's still working on the personnel. He had a very young team. They weren't trying to really win. It was more about development. So I think he has a bright future in this league, me personally. Now, OKC has a ton of assets right now. They got SGA, Darius Bazley, Lou Dort, Theo Maledon, and Poku, plus 18 first rounders over the next 7 years. So they got a ton of capital to work with. And they're probably going to be a pretty good team because of all this. They probably got the brightest future in the NBA if they can, you know, capitalize on all this. And they're OKC. They just don't miss. Like, they're like Polo G. They don't miss. Or Steph Curry, they really don't miss. Like, this team is good at drafting. They literally, I know I mentioned this earlier, but they drafted 3 MVPs in a row. So I do believe that most of these picks they will capitalize on, or at least turn them into other assets. So that's OKC for you. Now, one trade if I'm OKC I am considering, especially because he got limited value right now. A lot of people are on his head. A lot of people are talking about him bad. They say he's 7'3" for no reason. Me saying that, you already know I'm talking about Kristaps Porzingis. Yeah, if I'm OKC, I would be interested in a Kristaps Porzingis trade. I know he had a very bad year. Well, no, he didn't. He really didn't have a bad year. He averaged 20 points and 9 rebounds. He had a bad playoff showing. But if I'm OKC, I still believe that there's some potential to be a lock. He's a former All-Star. He dealt with some injuries, and I just don't think he was meshing with Luka all that well. I would try a Kristaps Porzingis trade, and not only would trying the Kristaps Porzingis trade, you know, maybe work, you could probably get off Al Horford's money, who y'all are looking to trade anyway. The trade I would propose is Kristaps Porzingis and a 2020 first-round pick for Al Horford and 221 second-rounders. The reason why I would say Dallas would need to give up a pick in this case is because Kristaps Porzingis' contract is, you know, it's basically fully guaranteed, while Al Horford, only $14.5 million of his contract is guaranteed in the final year of his deal. So they can get some capital off that. Plus, they're probably going to have to move Porzingis. He's not liking it up there in Dallas. It's going to be dismayed between him and Luka and the front office potentially. And especially with the most recent rumor coming out about Luka maybe not being so happy with the front office right now. I don't know if that has anything to do with Porzingis, but you never know. So right now, you can get them while they're at their worst and potentially get off Kristaps Porzingis. And with our coach, who's really good at connecting with players, maybe he can unlock that part of Porzingis that Dallas wasn't able to unlock, as they weren't very creative and they had a heliocentric offense. Stole that one from me, Rusty. But yeah, I would definitely consider this as an option for y'all. Another thing I would like to see do more is play Darius Bazley at the small ball 4. He played a little bit of the 3 and the 4 this season. I would like to see him play a little bit more of the 5, and not shoot as many threes. He took like 5 threes a game or something like that. He needs to take less threes because he was not really hitting them, and that's not his game. He's more athletic. I know they didn't have crazy playmaking, but he needs to not shoot so many threes, or shoot them when he's wide open or something, because he took a lot of threes this year. That was a team in general that's probably one of the highest shooting 3-point teams in the league, I feel, but a lot of players on the team like Lou Dort that was just bombing away at the 3. So yeah, they need those players. Some of these players need to take less threes on this team. But those are some adjustments I'll make and some trades I'll consider if I'm OKC. Again, Kristaps Porzingis contract could be a problem, but eventually that money got to go somewhere. You're gonna have some money in your books. Y'all gonna have to make a decision on SGA here soon, because his contract extension is coming up, so y'all gonna have to make a decision on him. It's just best, in my opinion, for them to start considering these things and maybe just go in the direction of signing Kristaps. See, y'all can turn him back into some of his, some version of his New York self, and maybe with the creativity of your coach, he might work something out with Kristaps that'll make Kristaps happy and actually be more engaged on the team. This takes me into the draft. So as far as the NBA draft is concerned, the best case scenario for y'all is to get the number 1 pick. That's the best case scenario for any team in the lottery, basically. And if y'all get the number 1 pick, y'all draft Cade Cunningham. As simple as that. Y'all get the number 1 pick, y'all get Cade. Another good thing that could happen to y'all is if y'all end up getting Houston's pick. Say if Houston's pick falls to number 5, y'all can select Jonathan Kuminga. That would be the best case scenario, is that y'all keep, y'all get the number 1 pick and y'all able to draft Cade Cunningham, and y'all also get Houston's pick for it falling outside the top 4. So it falls to 5 or 6, y'all end up getting the pick. It's very unlikely that y'all get Houston's pick, but there's still a chance that y'all could. So that would be the best case scenario for y'all. The most realistic scenario for y'all would be to draft Jalen Suggs or Evan Mobley or Jalen Green with the 4th pick. Any of the other 3 will actually be a pretty good option for y'all, because the good thing is you already have SGA, who's based like a Swift Army knife. He could play 1, 2, 3, or he could play any of those positions for real. And if y'all have him, y'all can pair him with Jalen Green, and he could be the point guard. Or if you get Jalen Suggs, you can keep SGA at the shooting guard, and Jalen will be the point guard. Or if you draft Evan Mobley, it doesn't really matter. You compare him in the backcourt. Y'all got so many ways that y'all can go about this. It doesn't matter which one of those 3 that y'all end up getting, because it's all gonna work. Even if y'all got Jonathan Kuminga, it wouldn't matter. Y'all got somewhere y'all could put any prospect that y'all get. Y'all are just built so perfectly right now that is built in a way that whoever y'all draft, y'all can fit them in and continue on collecting assets and bringing in more players, and it wouldn't really matter. Now, if y'all do draft Evan Mobley, obviously if Kristaps Porzingis trade, there's no point in worrying about that trade, because you got Evan Mobley. You're gonna pair him with more likely Poku, who might we still don't know what Poku is, but hopefully becomes something special. That'd be a really interesting front court with him and Evan Mobley. But these are the things. This is what OKC got going for themselves. They got perfect position. They're gonna they're great. No matter who they draft, they're gonna make it work, because they're good at drafting. They're gonna draft whoever they believe is the best, and it's all gonna work out for them. That's just OKC for you. Now, another thing is with the 18th pick, if he's available at 18th, I'm not 100% sure he's gonna be available at 18th. Say if y'all don't draft Evan Mobley or something, then at 18, I'll be very happy to say y'all might be able to get Kai Jones, who, again, with y'all coach, could turn Kai Jones into something special. Y'all can make Kai Jones a steal of the draft just because of y'all personnel. Like, I got the right coach to do it. He is good at developing. I believe he will work wonders with Kai Jones. I really like y'all coach, even though he's not really talked about in mainstream and nobody really mentions him, and most people probably don't even know who he is. I know who he is, and he's legit. So Kai Jones, if y'all get the 18th pick, he might be something if y'all don't select Evan Mobley. If y'all do select Evan Mobley, Jared Butler, he should be available around 18th, and that's another option that I would consider going with. Jared Butler seems like a solid pick. He seems like he's going to be solid. You can mesh him with SGA, or you can go with Trey Mann, whichever one y'all like more. Trey Mann's pretty good in the pick and roll. I still question his ability to handle the ball. To me, he kind of reminds me of Landry Shamet in some ways. So I'm not 100% sold on him, but I would personally go with Jared Butler if it came between the two. I think Jared Butler, even though he's a little bit older, he's the better prospect in my general opinion, because I don't know if Trey's ever going to develop the perfect ball handling skills to be able to be a primary ball handler at the NBA level. SGA is going to take some of those ball handling duties off of him, but he needs to be able to be more comfortable being a primary ball handler, regardless if he's good in the pick and roll or not. So those are my questions right there. But Trey Mann or Jared Butler would be good options if y'all end up selecting Evan Mobley. If y'all don't, then obviously, in my opinion, Kai Jones is going to be the best option for y'all. Final thing I'm going to briefly cover is free agency. And there's nothing to really do in free agency. They have a mid-level exception. They have the ability to trade for a star player, as they have a good amount of money in several different trade exceptions. They got a $28 million trade exception from Steven Adams, a $20 million trade exception for Danilo Gallinari. I don't know why I pronounced his name wrong, but they got him, and a $15 million for Kelly Oubre. So they need to, but that's basically gonna cover that right there. The main thing they're gonna have to be considering is they're gonna need to start talking to SGA about contract extensions. Obviously, it's clear as day that SGA deserves the max. He's really improved over the years. He's a stud. Honestly, if he wasn't in the West, he'll be an all-star. He's going to be one of the, Swiss Army knife. Honestly, I have him as the 7th best shooting guard in the league already. And the shooting guard position is more stacked than, a lot of people would, believe. But I have him as number 7 already. He has a case for being top 4. Top 5. He's really special. I really like him. I think he's even better than Donovan Mitchell. So obviously he deserves the max. But does OKC want to commit the max? So once you commit to a max level player, it's time to start going from, we're trying to build something, to, okay, now we need to be buying in and trying to start winning, because we got to start paying max money to a player. So that's something that OKC is going to need to consider. And, with that being the case, that's probably the last thing I'm going to talk about in this video. If you like the video, don't forget to leave your boy a like and subscribe to the channel, as your support will be much appreciated. Until the next one, peace.